Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, I'm giving you guys the floor if you guys have any closing comments about mental health that you like to stress as we wrap it up.
I think for me that it really comes down to self-awareness. Not being afraid to admit that you need a helping hand, not beating yourself up for sometimes being weak, and needing that help, being cognizant of the what you share, what you choose not to share, and with mental health stuff as influencers, I feel like it's super important for us to set an example of like one, like anxiety and depression are normal. A lot of people have to deal with them. A lot of people, it's a seasonal thing. So for me, it's like a really big hormonal thing. For a lot of people, it's just all the time. And to pretend like they are not is like it's really harmful for people who feel like they have to like hide that. And as an influencer, being open and informed and trying to, even if you do suffer from depression, be like a force, like focus on the positive things. Like I like to focus on the actions that I'm taking, like going to see my therapist and stuff like that, as opposed to like I feel like garbage day after day after day after day after day. Like that isn't going
Mm-hmm.
to help people who are also suffering. What's going to help them is seeing that the actions that you take. And also like sometimes like the reason that I was able to hook up with anxiety gaming is because I tweeted out one day like things are hard, and then they like someone saw that and connected me, and like you like sometimes like that just happens, that as an influencer that shouldn't be the majority of your influence. Like you don't want your mark on the world to be a negative one. um but recognizing that like destigmatizing mental health and treating mental illness is like a huge thing, and as someone with any kind of audience, it's our responsibility to take those steps if we want to, if that's something that we want to do,
Mm-hmm.
um, to make sure that you recognize where you can help and where you can't, and not make yourself feel bad about that too. Like we were talking about earlier, like if someone reaches out to you with suicidal thoughts or feelings, be like, I cannot help you. Like this is not my job, and I can't like be responsible for whether you live or die. Like that's not something I can do as a person. And that's like the extreme example, but like those are the things that come up as someone who has a lot of people who are emotionally invested in you and your content. Recognizing where you can help and where you have the space to help and where you can't, and separating that and being willing to say that without beating yourself up about it. Like I feel like a lot of the times, especially for me, one of the things that makes me feel worse than anything else is myself, making me feel bad about the things that I ought to feel bad about. Like, I can't help this person, and so I need to feel bad about that. Or like, I took 2 days off last week, and so I need to feel bad about that. Or like, I forgot that I had front page time today, right now, and committed to
Oh
this,
no.
and I need to feel bad about that. It's fine. Like, um, but like those are all things where like there's a certain point where you have to stop like making yourself feel worse about all the things you're doing, because like you can only do so much, you know?
Yeah.
So like I think that being mindful and conscious of your own limitations and not kicking yourself about them is like super, super important.
Well said. Jesse?
Um, I think it's important for people to realize that even if you are a full-time broadcaster, Twitch isn't everything. There are plenty of full-time startup entrepreneurs who will say the same thing. People who work full-time, who are managers or presidents of their branches within their companies, that will say the same thing. You need to have a healthy work-life balance, and sometimes that means that you need to put life in front of work. And when you are able to recharge and when you are able to bring in, look, I have gotten back into reading. I haven't read since I was in high school, and it makes me feel really great. And once that becomes a part of your routine, maybe you can introduce it to your cast and do book discussions or book clubs. But you don't ever have to do that. You should have hobbies that are outside of Twitch, even if it's still related to gaming. Maybe there's just one game on your PlayStation that you only play yourself and you don't ever stream because it's your time to have downtime. And that's still something you could bring up. Yeah, I just finished Horizon Zero Dawn. Oh, did you stream it? No, but it was great. Like, I had a really good time. And those sort of things. I think it's really important for people to realize that it's okay to have other things in your life other than Twitch, and it's beneficial more so than not to have other things in your life other than Twitch, as a caster, as a moderator, as a viewer, because it makes you a more well-rounded person, and it makes you feel better about yourself and your accomplishments when you're able to say, yes, I did this, this, and this. And they're all semi-related because they're all things that I'm enjoying and I'm good at, or I fail out all the time, but it's okay because I have time. I have fun while I fail at it, such as like Dark Souls and trying to beat it. People fail at it all the time, but they still say, "Oh, this is enjoyable" when I'm not raging or whatever. So yeah, that's something that I want people to take away with.
Awesome. And just as a final disclaimer, we're not licensed professionals. So as we have mentioned, like, if you guys, if you're feeling like really, really bad, we've listed some resources. Get help, talk to somebody. It's not the end of the world. Like, don't be afraid to go and get some help. And hopefully these resources and these tips that we mentioned, they may not help you. Some may help you better than others. So do what works for you. We don't have a golden book here. Mental health is this extremely difficult and complicated topic to talk about. But I think Bluejay and Jessy, you guys did a